I would at the very outset congratulate the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of Finance for the presentation of this budget for the year 2019-2020. Even before its presentation, Madam Speaker, I must say that there have been a lot of speculations. A lot of speculations in the press and within the opposition quarters, depicting a certain picture, negative, calling it la bouche douce, electoralist, even preempting, because we are almost at the end of the present mandate. Some said that the old age pension would have been aligned on minimum wage. It is, in fact, a lesson for those who like to talk, to speculate or to write nonsense or spread unfounded and fake news. Sometimes even all the time without thinking. They would think that we forget, but we don't. People as well, the population as well, do not forget. For those who write, they should know that readership should not be taken for granted. Despite all this, Honorable Pravin Kumar Jagannath, Minister of Finance and Economic Development, served us at the eve of the next general elections, one of the most responsible budget. Well balanced, reconciling social justice and the need to pursue equitable development as well as durable development. A budget turned towards the future, where no one has been left behind, be it in Mauritius, Rodrigues, Agalega, and the Chagos. The aim is obviously to reduce inequalities. The series of measures to achieve this objective speaks for itself. I will not repeat all that has been already enumerated yesterday. Measures to alleviate poverty include the support given to elders, to planters, to fishermen, to taxi owners, to civil servants, amongst others. Following the presentation of the budget, the mood in the country has changed, but in some segments of the press, the mood has not changed. I have noticed this year a notable number of freshly proclaimed consultants, analysts, and advisors in economic matters communicating everywhere in the papers, on radio, or on social media. Freedom of expression allows everyone to talk, but not to use the cap of a professional and to induce the population in error, instilling doubts in the minds of people, undermining the confidence of business actors, undermining the confidence of potential local and foreign investors in our country. Some, on a weekly basis, take a sadistic pleasure to tarnish our reputation internationally. Yesterday, I listened carefully to the leader of the opposition. He quoted Charles Dickens, and my friend, Honorable Sinatambu, reminded him that Charles Dickens was a fiction author. We have to run a country, not in fiction, but in reality. I would rather be realistic and quote someone else. The person I would quote answers to all the detractors of the Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Honorable Pravin Jagannath. Madam Speaker, I will quote the Executive Director representing the African region on the Board of Directors of the IMF. Concluding the IMF Article 4 consultation 2019 on the 22nd of April this year, the Director of the IMF wrote to our Prime Minister, and I quote, "Excellency, let me take the opportunity to join other executive directors in congratulating you and the Mauritian authorities for the solid macroeconomic performance over the years, and also for your continued support to address structural bottlenecks." End of quote. Madam Speaker, this is what the IMF thinks of our Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. So who would care about our local apprenti sorcier. After these consultations, the conclusion were very clear. The economy remains strong despite adverse international challenges. Growth is stable, targeted up to 3.9%. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Development fiscal policy has been found in line with the previous year budget. There is stability in our financial sector. Banking sector is performing satisfactorily. Official forex reserves have increased. The IMF, they carried out its debt sustainability analysis, which concluded that Mauritius' debt level remains sustainable. I am not saying this. The Prime Minister and Minister of Finance is not saying that. We are not blowing our own trumpet. It is the IMF commanding the economic management of the country. But IMF, Madam Speaker, is not the only international institution which has assessed our economy positively. Recently, Moody's maintained a Baa1 stable notation for Mauritius, stressing on the resilience of our economy. I quote from the report, Madam Speaker, Mauritius has outperformed Baa-rated peers, something we expect to continue over the next 2 years. Further, it says Mauritius has a steady record of growth. Improvement in the labor market continues with the unemployment rate falling to its lowest since 2001, that is now at 6.9%, down from a peak of 8% in 2013. Madam Speaker, we have growth, and more importantly, it is not jobless growth. Moody's says that household debt service has continued to decline to 15.2% in 2018, compared to 18% in 2014. Again, Madam Speaker, I am not the one saying all this. Neither is the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance who is saying all that. Moody's is saying that. We also ranked Mauritius 20th in the World Bank Ease of Doing Business. And the Prime Minister just announced continued efforts to improve business climate. A new Business Facilitation Act is in preparation. Locally, Madam Speaker, the Mauritius Chamber of Commerce and Industry in its latest report stipulated that the business confidence indicator has improved in our private sector. Our offshore financial sector is doing well. The policies of the government in this respect has produced results. The Mauritian jurisdiction has been cleared by EU, Union Européenne, l'OCDE, and it has been found compliant. About anti-money laundering, the SAMLAG follow-up report has seen us obtain an upgrade in 11 Financial Action Task Force recommendations. More importantly is recommendation 15, which concerns due diligence of new investors. That means that our financial sector is safe, transparent, and reliable. This translates the seriousness and good job of the regulatory bodies. The new agreement with the Gujarat International Finance Tech City qualifying Mauritian companies to operate there is a new avenue which will definitely be remembered. Madam Speaker, the efforts of our Prime Minister and Minister of Finance to develop and stress on economic diplomacy has been fruitful. Mauritius has earned its place as an economic leader in Africa. We have seen the visits of several African presidents recently. The latest one from Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and a couple of months earlier, the President of Mozambique and the President of Madagascar, who was the chief guest for the independence celebration on the 12th of March. New trade agreements have been negotiated. But all this takes time, and time will tell. All this proves our economic position in an objective way. We accept constructive criticisms, but what we are hearing these days sometimes leaves us confused. Few weeks ago, the main critic against the government was public sector debt, even just before budget presentation. When we bring measures to bring down debt level, some do not find it good. The way debt is being repaid is being challenged. But this issue has already been canvassed yesterday. Central banks using reserves to repay debt. Public debt is internationally accepted by the IMF. I will say only one sentence. Qui paie ses dettes s'enrichit. So I fail to understand some people with double personalities. Either they are dishonest or they are schizophrenic. Or they just want free publicity in the press, talking nonsense. Same goes for the medical insurance given to civil servants. Some are saying that it is the beginning of the dismantling of the welfare state, as if we are closing public hospitals or we are preventing civil servants to go to the public health sector. This is pure demagogy and short-sightedness. These people forget that all the employees of their state-owned companies have a medical insurance. Be it Air Mauritius, Mauritius Telecom, CEB, CWA, SECOM, Cargo Handling Corporation, MRA, all these bodies have their staff insured or contributing to a provident fund. So if medical insurance is good for these people, why won't it be good for all the civil servants? We have to raise the level of the debate, the level of thought. What is good should be acknowledged as good, even by political opponents. Syndicate representatives should abandon archaic reflexes. We are no longer in the 70s. We are a caring government. We are modernizing. I listened to Honorable Selon yesterday making her plea for the legalization of cannabis for medical purpose. I must say that there is debate. Myself, as a practitioner treating cancer patients, I am thoughtful about this issue. But we have standards to respect. The international trend nowadays is to go along evidence-based medicine. Until I don't read properly conducted studies published in reference periodicals such as the Lancet or the New England Journal of Medicine, or equivalent, in favor of medical virtues of cannabis, I cannot adhere to that theory. Of course, in the eventuality that this happens, I will review my own position, and my friend, the Honorable Minister of Health, who is a practitioner as well, will certainly advise the government appropriately. We cannot let ourselves be pressurized by different lobbies, be it from pharmaceutical industries or other consumer organizations. Madam Speaker, let me say a few words about my constituency, Rivière-des-Anguilles-Souillac. People out there will be eternally thankful to the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. In the name of all tea planters, I wish to extend warmest thanks to the Prime Minister for doubling the winter allowance. I've been working in this constituency for 10 years now. Never in the past there have been so many projects realized. Apart from drains and road upgrading, I will enumerate a few projects that have been done in the last 3 years. New village hall in Château Benares, sub-hall in Batimaré, new village hall in Rivière-des-Anguilles, new village hall in Bois-Chéry, new village hall in Grand Bois, new village hall in La Flora. All this had to be done, and it has been done. Thank you, Prime Minister. I need to extend heartfelt thanks to the PPS of the constituency, Honorable Boyga, for her good work and dedication. And I wish to thank the Prime Minister for providing funds to move forward with the Rivière-des-Anguilles Dam project. This undoubtedly will solve the problem of water supply in the whole of the southern region. Thank you, Madam. I have done.